Welcome back to Tarot and Beyond. Today we're doing a future self reading. So these are actually a set of readings that I've seen many other readers do, and I love watching them. So I figured, why don't we do that as well? So it's going to be messages from your future self, and this could be near future or it could be distant future. We will try to get as much information as we can or context for these messages. So go ahead and use the cards that you see here before you to select your chosen reading or readings. So we have group number 1, group number 2, and group number 3. And you may also notice that they are divided by houses, signs, and planets. So those are going to be specific to the readings, and we'll find out more about that information from the karma cards when we get into those readings. So select one and use the timestamps down below in the description box or pinned in the comments to jump ahead to your chosen reading or readings, and we'll see you there. All right, hi group number 1, welcome to your future self reading. So let's take a look at the cards you have here. So you chose houses, and this is the 12th house. Wow, okay, so this is your faith, hidden tendencies, and large institutions or overwhelming events. These are cards that are meant to be read in triplicate, so we will get the other corresponding planets and signs to go along with this house because they are astrology based. And it says seeking oneness with all there is, philanthropy, and keep your involvement hidden. So we'll find out context for that as we go along. You also have the 9 of Swords with suffering in silence. Okay, so suffering in silence is actually very 12th house because the 12th house is the house of isolation or the house of hidden things, like hidden tendencies. It can be addictions. It can also be like spiritual evolution or dark nights of the souls. It can be healing, like hospitals, recovery centers, and even ashrams and temples. So it's like a highly spiritual house, but if there's suffering involved, yeah, it will most likely be behind closed doors or in segregation in some way. So let's get some clarifiers and then we'll grab the additional cards for this context. So for group number 1, what is their future self wanting to tell them in regard to this message? That one and that one. Oh, there's one more. Okay. Okay, so you have temptation in reverse. Yeah, I feel like if you've been struggling with some kind of an addiction or a spiritual awakening or like coming into your power, your future self is letting you know that you've succeeded at mastering this. You've stepped out of temptation and you've, they just showed me faith. So spirit really emphasizing that you've refound or you've discovered a very, very core strength within you through your faith. Accelerated motion. This is the 8 of Wands, very fast moving energy. I feel like your wishes are being fulfilled with this. So it's like if you wished to be free, for example, from this suffering, from this isolation, from this addiction, that is what's going to happen. Your future self is letting you know that things will speed up and you will break free from these negative patterns that have kept you restricted, that have kept you stuck. And you're going to be doing it in a really independent way is what I'm getting. So there may be support from other people, like maybe it's like a recovery program, or maybe it's like a 12-step thing, or maybe you go to some kind of a healing center. But if you're doing this alone, I see you really coming to the top of this, what's the word? The top of this, yeah, I guess mountain. That wasn't the word I was looking for, but you come to the top of this point and you're able to have the higher perspective. And I think that's what renews your faith. It's like you come out of the darkness and you see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that star is kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel that guides you through. You have discontent and boredom. So some of these things may have been caused by your discontent, your boredom with life. Maybe you turned to drugs or alcohol or food or some other kind of addiction like social media or relationships, love. Anything really can become an addiction if we are dependent on it in an unhealthy way. So I feel like this discontent and boredom was kind of like a contributing factor, but I also feel like it was very spiritually like fated for this to happen. So basically what they're showing me is like, if you had not become discontent in this way, you wouldn't have kind of had the catalyst or the necessary focus to turn inward and to look at these issues and address them. Like if they hadn't gotten this bad, then you wouldn't have been kind of forced to look inward in such a deep and intense way, which is what catalyzed your spiritual growth or awakening. Love begins. Your future self is letting you know that you do some pretty major healing of the heart chakra in regard to this dependency or this addiction. And that's what gets you out of suffering in silence. You open your heart and you do some major healing. You know, I was even seeing that here in the temptation card. This is the devil card, by the way. And you can see that he's got like this light. And that to me is like the light at the end of the tunnel that we were seeing there with the 8 of Wands as well. And he's got this key that has like a heart on the end of it. So love is going to free you, and it's self-love, right? So it's you finding the key for yourself, because he's got the keyhole right there in his sternum. So this is you guys finding your power again, recalling your power. I just heard the word will, so it's like through sheer will and intention, you're able to heal yourself. You're able to seek out the environments or the circumstances that will help you to do the healing for yourself. Maybe it's practitioners, maybe it's places, maybe it's just you focusing on this issue. Whatever it is, your future self is letting you know that you've recovered from this, because I just heard that word, recovered. You've recovered. If for some of you this is like a health issue, they're also saying that the feeling of entrapment from that health issue is also something that you relieve and that you free yourself from. Partnerships and alliances. Okay, so I was feeling that this is like, for some of you, you will be doing this alone, or mostly alone. And for others of you, it is through partnerships and alliances with others that you really find the core of this healing. Like, it's a very personal, subjective journey for you, but I feel like there's going to be support along the way. So maybe you do most of it alone, but there's like helpers along the way. You know, it's kind of like the hero's journey. Like, there's always going to be a call to action. Something needs to change. You go from the ordinary life, which is discontent and boredom, to something that's completely different, maybe challenging, but there's always helpers, right? Like, there's always supporters that come in that give you information, or they give you tools or resources, or maybe just support. And that's kind of what I'm seeing in the 12th house there. Like, if this is a 12-step program, or if this is like a healing community, or like a spiritually based retreat or something like that, it's like there's going to be support here, and there's going to be those alliances are going to be really invaluable, is the word I just heard. Like, really invaluable. Your higher self and your future self are letting you know how important it is for you to have these kinds of connections that can give you the support you need to heal yourself. Like, they don't heal you, you heal yourself, but they are invaluable in that support. Oh, I love it. This is the High Priestess cards. You have intuition, very 12th house energy. 12th house is ruled by Pisces, so it's all about your spirituality. And your intuition here is going to be on point. Your future self is letting you know that when you recover from this addiction or this dependency or this health issue, you are coming out of it so much stronger. You have way more capacity to receive insight from the divine, is what they just told me. So you're going to be, I just heard the word psychic. So you're going to be psychic. You're going to have your psychic abilities come back online and be accessible to you, because they were being blocked by whatever this issue was. If it was a physical health issue, that was kind of interfering, you know, it was like interference on the radio station, so it's like static that you were getting. Or if this was like a mental health issue or an addiction or a substance issue, then again, that was acting as interference. And as soon as you clear that out through this love and you open your heart, boom, there you go. All of your gifts come back online, and you're really able to very quickly make progress in your spiritual faith, your spiritual connection, and your embodiment as well. Wow. Okay. And that's leading to material harvest. This is so beautiful. Material harvest is the 9 of Pentacles. So this is you guys really coming out of this phase of your life very well off. Stable is what I just heard. You're going to be very stable. So where once there was like instability, major instability in the mental health or the physical health or the spirituality, it's like now you have so much stability to go on. And they're drawing my attention to, which I've never noticed before in this card, the what are those called? Like it reminds me of the Parthenon in Greece. Yeah, I don't even know what, like the Acropolis or something like that. So it feels to me almost like ancient healing. and ancient knowledge, possibly like philosophy, like your philosophy on life and your material world is completely transformed. I'm also noticing that you have 2 9s here. So 9s are the ending of a cycle. It's like a culmination point. It can also be about humanitarianism. So you might actually, through this healing, learn a lot that allows you to give back in a way. I feel like you're going to be embodying to a very high degree your spirituality, and your manifestation power is going to increase because of this. That may be what allows you to bring in the money or the resources to be able to share this knowledge with others, because that's kind of what I'm seeing there with those structures in the background and the sun behind his head kind of looking like a halo, like he's gained enlightenment in some way. This definitely feels like a hero's journey of some kind, for sure. So now let's get the additional messages from the karma cards. So the way these cards work is that you've chosen the house, 12th house, but we're also going to be getting the planet and the signs. So let me just actually remove the houses from this deck because we already have that, and separate out the signs and then the planets. Okay, so actually it's going to go planet, sign, and then house. So we'll get the planet first. So for group number 1, okay, you have the sun. Okay, so it's going to go sun and then the sign for group number 1. Oh, you got 2. We'll take this one as a clarifier, but this is the main one because it fell into the reading, like on top of the cards. And it's Libra. Okay, so you have Sun in Libra in the 12th house. Now you did have Aries, which we will take as that clarifier, but let's take a look at these first. So the Sun is your sense of self. It's your ego. It's your body as well. So again, this could be very physical, health related. Libra is relationships, and you did have partnerships and alliances. So let's read these all together. So the way these work is we're actually going to do the upper row here in blue is the outcome of this, and the bottom row here is the action. So actually let's do the action first, then we'll do the outcome because that just makes more sense. And we'll see what the message is. So you have demonstrate relationships, seeking oneness with all there is. So the spiritual basis of this pattern or this learning or whatever this hero's journey is for you is to demonstrate through relationships that you can achieve this oneness with all there is. So you're going to come together with people, and through connection, you're really going to renew that sense of faith. Now, the mental aspect of this is realizing the beauty of philanthropy. I knew philanthropy had something to do with it, and I didn't even notice that that was there in the card. I was just getting that from the number 9. So it's like humanitarianism, philanthropy, giving back in some way. The physical aspect of this is acting like a leader, doing it with partners, and keeping your involvement hidden. So this might be like you end up kind of being like a behind the scenes benefactor, or somebody does that for you, and then you're able to create this business or this this like charity or this nonprofit or this like venture of some kind that puts you in a leadership position in regard to what you've managed to overcome. So your higher, not your higher self, your future self is letting you know that these alliances, that's what they said before, are going to be very instrumental in you really coming into your own in a big way and being able to help the world. So now let's take a look at the outcome. All right, so the spiritual outcome is the creation of cooperation to perfect your faith. Yeah, it's all about your faith. And then the mental outcome is the gaining of respect for or from decisions about hidden tendencies. So it's like you may be outspoken about these addictions or about recovering from whatever this limitation or this temptation was, and you're able to gain a lot of respect because you were able to personally embody the transformation, and you become like an inspiration for others, is what your future self is letting you know. The physical outcome here is things brought to life or light resulting from the fairness shown by large institutions or overwhelming events. Okay, so I feel like those overwhelming events are in relation to what you went through, like suffering in silence and the addictions or the physical health issues or whatever this is. It's like that overwhelming event really catalyzed the need for you to reach out for support or to do this internal work. I mean, it's really both, right? But that is resulting in this balance that you're creating, because that's what Libra is all about. So it's this fairness that you create, or this balance in your life through moderation, perhaps, that is, again, an inspiration for other people. And you're really focusing on bringing this to light. You are here to shine that light, to make this known. It feels like it's a taboo topic. So it's like, I'm getting like 8th house vibes from it. So it could be to do with sex. It could be to do with money. It could be to do with addiction, or physical health issues. Those are all kind of like the taboo things. So if it's like major debt, then you recover from that and you become very wealthy. Or if it's like a major health issue, again, you heal yourself through your faith and through other means, like with connections to people, and you follow your intuition, which allows this transformation to take place, something like that. So now let's take a look at this additional message here. This is Aries, so the sign, and then it says, energies to meet the challenge of, and then you've got your desires regarding, resulting from the honesty and strength of. So again, these messages aren't meant to be read completely alone, but let's actually see what that would look like in this context. So if we just put it here, so the creation of energies to meet the challenge of your faith, the gaining of respect for or from your desires regarding your hidden tendencies, and things brought to life or light resulting from the honesty and strength of large institutions or overwhelming events. I just heard government, so you might be getting like government assistance from this, or it might be like a government funded program that helps you and then you're able to give back, or maybe you create your own government funded program, something like that, because large institutions also makes me think of things like that, like hospitals, public service. It doesn't have to be government per se, but it's just kind of like large institutions that are there to help in the healing. So maybe it's like, I just heard public works. I don't even know what that is. Is that like like public recovery programs or something like that? And then on the flip side, you have demonstrate your willpower, seeking oneness with all there is. Yeah, it's like your willpower is a big part of this, and that's why you're able to heal, and that's also why you become an inspiration, is because you, through sheer will, are able to overcome something that a lot of people struggle with, and then you help to lead others in that regard. So you have realized what you think you know about philanthropy and act like a leader, do it your own way, and keep your involvement hidden. So I feel like you're going to still be kind of remaining behind the scenes a little bit. Those 9 energies are also very introspective, kind of isolated. It's the number of the hermit, that's why. So there's a lot of sort of like angel investor type of energy that I'm getting here, like either somebody invests in you or you invest in something else, or maybe both at different points in your life. But I just get the sense that you're going to be in a leadership position, but maybe in a way that's kind of a little bit more hidden, or if it's public, it's just in these hidden realms, like in the 12th house areas, like recovery, addiction, isolated things like that. Okay. So let's get some closing messages from the Astro Dice. So for group number 1, final messages from their future self. You have Capricorn in Neptune in Capricorn in the 3rd house. Okay. So in regard to timing, Neptune's a pretty slow-moving planet. Capricorn's pretty slow-moving energy as well. But the 3rd house is fairly quick because it's all about transportation, communication, technology. I just heard the word innovation as well. Neptune is about addictions too. So Neptune can kind of bring you into illusion or into delusion, or have you challenged when it comes to the way that you're interacting with your dreams, or the way that you're interacting with substances, things like that. And Capricorn is a very willpower and driven energy, and it's very strict and regimented and structured. So I just get the sense that, like, again, you're overcoming some disempowerment when it came to these temptations, addictions, or health issues, and you're doing it by creating structure, and then you're going to be communicating that in some way. Again, it's like being a leader in that field or being a helper or supporter of others in that way, so that you can communicate what it is that you went through, how you overcame this, and how other people can do the same thing. All right, so in regard to timing, I feel like this is going to be like further into the future. So if you're still struggling with this now, it's going to be a while, but you're going to be moving through the process, or you already have begun moving through the process of doing this healing work. So if you're still in that sort of dark tunnel, just know that there is a light at the end of it and you do get out. But I do get the sense that this is going to take some time, so you do need to be patient with it. Know that you're protected through the process. Know that you have support that is there for you. It's coming in, or it's already there. And you're going to make some big progress and transformations from this life event, I should say, like life story, because that's what it feels like. It's like this is a major part of your life story. So let me know how this resonates in the comment section below. I'm very curious to know the context for this, or how this ends up playing out. So that is what I see for you, group number 1. I hope that this message from your higher self was supportive of you in this growth and progress towards your liberation and, your success here, your healing. So I'm sending you guys lots of healing, protection, support, and abundance energy to kind of usher you on your way into this future timeline. So thank you so much for being here, guys. Thank you for liking the video if this resonated with you, and subscribe to the channel for more readings. There's lots more to come. So we'll see you there. Bye. All right. Hi, group number 2. Welcome to your future self reading. If you chose signs and this card, let's take a look at what you've got here. So you have the Scorpio energy here with purification to resurrect, the secrets of resulting from the power of. So these cards are actually meant to be read in triplicate. So we will be getting the other ones from this. So this is the sign, so we need the house and the planet. So we're going to start with this, and then we'll see how that unfolds. You also have justice. So this is truth. Okay, let's get some more cards, and then we'll take a look at these as well. So for group number 2, what does their future self want to tell them? I felt that one on the bottom too. Okay. So the shadow is here, and I feel like this is really about balance, because you've got the shadow and truth, which is the scales of justice. So you're really creating some balance here and doing some deep shadow work. Scorpio is all about shadow work as well. It's the deep diver, it's the shadow realm, it's what's hidden beneath the surface. And you have solitude, which is the hermit card. Okay. You have balance. Yeah, I knew it. It's all about balance for you guys. Your future self is letting you know that you've achieved balance of some kind. By doing some deep introspective work, by shadow work. Yeah, just keep getting the word shadow work. Discontent and boredom. Group number 1 just had this as well. There's a little bit of similar energy here to that group. Solar plexus chakra. Yeah, definitely similar energy to that group. I feel like, sorry, I have an itchy ear. I feel like you are going to be expanding and creating balance through your willpower. Again, that was a message that came up for group 1. That one might resonate with you too. They had this one too. Yeah, love begins. Okay, so that's been happening a lot lately, where there's like connection between the readings. You have hope. Yeah, it's the light at the end of the tunnel, coming out of a period of darkness by finding balance for yourself. And then you have destiny. This is definitely fated. This is destined. This is something that you have set up for yourself at soul level to be able to overcome. Yeah, I just get the sense that your future self is letting you know that you've been able to balance this out. So if there was something that was out of whack and it was creating disempowerment for you at the solar plexus chakra, this is like your sense of self, your personal power, your will, your ability to be autonomous and independent. So any dependencies, any self-esteem or self-worth issues can affect the solar plexus chakra specifically. And that's why doing this shadow work, seeing yourself in the light and the dark and creating balance therein, helps you to free yourself from this karma in a very destined way. Through self-healing, you're finding hope, your faith is renewed, you're able to moderate yourself better and to manifest positive results. And you're doing this very much through introspection, through this very subjective deep diving into your subconscious mind. And Scorpio is really good at that. It's purification. It's the secrets that are underneath the surface held by the shadow self, the subconscious mind. And by connecting to that, it's like you're creating this wholeness within you. And so you're no longer fractalized or disconnected from yourself and therefore disempowered. By connecting to your shadow and creating balance in this way, you're able to heal any of these areas that there was lack or the perception of lack, because now you've come back together with yourself. That's why this is destined, because at soul level, you set this up so that you would kind of have this catalyst and this discomfort to kind of force you into the deeper depths. Because it's like, if you didn't have that discomfort, you maybe wouldn't have done it, because you would have just been happy to stay in your comfort zone. But they're saying that you set this up for yourself in this way so that you would have to deep dive, because it would become so uncomfortable that you couldn't not do it. You know, it's like it was more uncomfortable to stay in that darkness than it was to go a little bit deeper into the subconscious and really kind of get to the gritty bits of the inside and what was going on therein. So let's take a look at this in context. So this is the sign. So we do want to get planet and house. Okay, so I'm just going to remove the other sign cards and separate out the planets. Okay, so let's start with the planet and then we'll get the house. Okay, so for group number 2, there's 2 here and they're telling me not to take those. It's actually this one on the top here. Saturn, okay. And then the house. No, it's this one on the top again. That's so strange, because there was like 2 other ones and you've got the 10th house. Okay. Anyway, so Saturn is the planet of like hard lessons, hard work, responsibility. It's very much about your ability to do things the right way and to create balance through maturity. And they literally, I didn't even look down yet and it says maturity right there. So it's through maturity. So you have Saturn in Scorpio in the 10th house, which is to do with your public image, your career, your life purpose. And sometimes it's your destiny as well. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here in context of these cards. Okay. So the way that we read these is, the blue side is the outcome, the red side is the action, and then there's the spiritual, mental, and physical aspects of each one. So the actions here that you're going to be taking to become this future version of you are spiritually, responsibly... Wait. Oops, I've got this reversed. That's why it doesn't make sense. Yes. There we go. So be realistic about the extraordinary power of prayer responsibly. That's the spiritual aspect of this. So learning how to pray responsibly, learning how to connect to your spirituality in a very balanced way, really creating equilibrium so that everything is in harmony. The mental aspect of this action is being concerned about the highest and lowest aspects of success. So again, the highest and the lowest, the light and the shadow, the good and the bad, and really being able to connect those within you and how you view yourself as a success. So it's like not even external success, it feels like internal success is really what brings you that sense of satisfaction that heals the discontent and boredom. Your future self is saying that you actually do experience external success either before or after this event, but even if you experience it before, because each of you are on different timelines, but and different like life experiences, you're all unique souls. But what they're saying is that for those of you who experience this success before this event, it's like it's very unsatisfying. Like that external success that you achieve through your work becomes like really boring and it's not satisfying for you at a soul level. And that's what creates this kind of like midlife crisis or dark night of the soul that kind of forces you to address why there's a lack of success there, or why you feel like you're dissatisfied with this. For those of you who are like struggling in life before this, going through this catalyst and this growth phase really helps you to create success for yourself long term. And it is external success, but it comes from as a direct manifested result of this internal power that you're developing. That's what the true win is in the situation. That's what you're truly feeling, as though it was an achievement or an accomplishment of note, and it was satisfying for the soul. And then as a result of that, you end up stepping into your power in an external way and having that sort of outside definition of success. All right. And for those of you who experience that midlife crisis, you come out the other side of it with the success too. But again, it's like you need to develop the internal aspect of that first. Okay, so now let's look at the outcome. So the spiritual outcome is the maturity that brings purification to resurrect your destiny. Destiny. Yeah, see? I knew it. Very much about your destiny. This is a soul level choice that you've written into your contract. Pre-incarnation. Yeah. The mental aspect of this is caution regarding the secrets of where you're going. And the physical aspect is limits imposed resulting from the power of your career. Yeah, that's what I feel, is that you kind of have to address the dark sides of your idea of achievement, or your idea of success or power, or how you operate with responsibility in your career. Is it aligned with your spirituality? Is it aligned with your soul? Is it aligned with your truth? So it's like if you find yourself in a line of work that is not aligned with you at soul level, this is first of all destined and meant to be that way, because you're meant to become so discontent and uncomfortable and challenged by this situation that it leads you inward and causes you to do this rebalancing work to be able to come out of it in a way that you can actually be successful externally with a lot more satisfaction. Wow. Yeah. It's like you're able to renew your hope. You step back into your spiritual wholeness in a way that then improves how you operate in your destined path, like what you feel like you need to be doing, and not just doing it for the money or the clout or the status, but doing it because it feels aligned and it empowers you and possibly others as well. It's all about this transformation. Scorpio, there's like 3 aspects to Scorpio. There's the scorpion, which we're all most familiar with, but then there's also the eagle and the phoenix. And I feel like it's almost like Pokemon, you know, where there's like the 3 evolutions of that Pokemon. And since we're doing a future self reading, I feel like there's 3 evolutions of you, group number 2, where you go from the scorpion, where there's like some poison that you need to suck out, or there's, you know, like you feel low to the ground, like maybe you don't have the success that you want. And then you go into the eagle, where you see this much higher perspective and you can actually start to unite these 2 sides of yourself. And you have the power and the freedom to liberate yourself and to create balance, to be able to use the airwaves to go ever higher. You know, it's like the currents of air that the eagles will glide on. It's like the light and the hope that buoys you up and allows you to gain this renewed sense of what is truly important in life. And then the phoenix stage comes, and you rise from the ashes of what you once were, and you transform yourself into something that nobody expected you to be, but you come out of this completely magical. Like the phoenix is not a creature that we have here on earth. It is a magical interdimensional being. And so that is what you come out of this as. It's like you coming into your wholeness have become magic. This is just completely beautiful. So I do kind of want to see if we can get timing on this. So let me just kind of look at the cards and see if we can have an idea of what the process of this kind of looks like. Now, timing is always kind of malleable and it should always be taken with a grain of salt. So I'm not going to give specific timings. I'm just kind of looking for, or trying to get a feel on what the timeline of this might look like as it develops. I just heard 17 years when I looked at the number 17 here, and they're bringing me over here to 18 and 20. So this may have been something that actually started for you at around the age of 17. And it's been developing since then. So this is like a lifelong thing, but I feel like it's specifically was catalyzed at around the age of 17, 18, or 20 for some of you. And it could be going in like 17-year cycles. I don't know. I know that Saturn returns are in 28 to 30-year cycles. Maybe that has something to do with it. But I feel like this is, yeah, it's definitely like a lifelong process. But like 17, 17, 17 is what they're showing me. So the first 17 years of your life, the second 17 years of your life, and the third 17 years of your life are going to kind of represent the 3 stages of the Scorpionic evolution. So let me know where you're at in that process. Or how this resonates, or the context that this might be providing. A street sweeper just went by outside and I had to stop and like just be quiet for a minute to let it go by because it was really loud, and it's slow because they're cleaning the sides of the streets. So I feel like this is you really cleaning some stuff up, you know, like for all the dirt and stuff that's under the surface. And it's a highly spiritual process for you. There's so much healing involved in this, and spiritual enlightenment. Yeah, it's like you really find your maturity when it comes to your purpose in life and your spiritual self and how those two fit together. So that is what I see for you, group number 2. I really hope that this resonated. Your future self is here kind of cheering you on and letting you know that if you're going through these challenges or whatever phase of the cycle you're in, you are strong, this is destined, and you are going to really, really benefit from this at a soul level, both in this lifetime and all of the lifetimes that come after it. So yeah, you're breaking the chains and evolving in a big way. I love to see this. So thank you so much for being here, guys. It was a pleasure to do this reading for you. Thank you for liking the video if it resonated, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Stick around for more readings. There's lots more to come, and we'll see you in those next readings. Bye. All right. Hi, group 3. Welcome to your future self reading. If you chose planets, then you have chosen Mercury. So this is the planet of communication and commerce as well. It can be about travel and technology and all forms of, I'm also seeing duality here. So it's like Gemini. I'm also, yeah, Mercury rules Gemini. Yeah, okay. You have Stand Your Ground, the 7 of Wands. So we're going to get more from the Psychic Tarot, and then we'll get the accompanying cards to this one. So we'll get the sign and the house since you chose the planet, and we will see the full message. Okay, so but first, let's get the tarot cards. So for group number 3, from their future self, what are the messages here in regard to, yeah, this future? Okay, they're like more. Oh my god, that's too many, Spirit. Yours is going to be a big reading. Okay. We have so many cards. So group number 3, you have moving on. This actually came up in the pre-shuffle, so I see why they had me pull so many. So you're going to be moving on from something, standing your ground. Let's see. You have the Justice card. This just came up in group number 2 as well. You have the third eye chakra. Wow. Okay, so you're seeing something here. You're seeing beyond duality. Gemini reminds me of duality. It's the twins. So you're able to see beyond duality or see multiple truths. Victory and success. I like that you have 2 6s here as well. So it's like harmony that you're creating. By moving on, you're moving towards victory and success. You're standing your ground. You have solar plexus. That also just came up in group 2. Wisdom, the Hierophant. Authority in reverse. Yeah, you're having to take back your power in some way in regard to a truth. This could even be a legal situation I just got for some of you that you come out victorious from because you see the truth and you see beyond the duality, and you're able to communicate that in a very aligned way. You're able to analyze it because you've got this higher perspective. Material and spiritual prosperity. You have 3 6s. 666. And that's not a number to be scared of. Oh, you have 4 sixes. Sixes are just about harmony. It's like as above, so below. So you're needing to kind of learn to create balance between those realms, or you're creating relationship healing. Although I don't see relationships much in the rest of your cards. So let's just kind of take a look. Let me see if that's in frame. Yeah, okay. And you have temptation in reverse. So you're having to kind of overcome some kind of a disempowering situation. And group number 1 had temptation here as well. But for you guys, I feel like it's not necessarily to do with like an addiction or something like that, or a health issue. For you, it feels much more like an external disempowering system. Like I feel like you need to go up against a corporation, or you need to go up against the government, or go up against like something that is out of whack and disempowering others, that doesn't come from a place of wisdom, but it's like a tradition that's been around a long time, and you kind of rebel against that in some way, or you like fight the system, is what I'm seeing. It's like you go up against the man, you know, like the authority, the emperor is the man, and you go up against the man either by rebelling against the system or being like an advocate for a different kind of system. You have awareness with the Magician. So yeah, you've got some pretty major awareness here. You're very psychically inclined, group number 3. And I think that you're going to be using that to stand your ground. You're going to be using that to, I just heard, bolster your position. So it's kind of like you're able to, with this insight that you get from your intuition or from your psychic abilities, you're able to influence or persuade people in a positive way, I think. Through your communications or through the way that you see things. It's like you're seeing a higher truth, and then you're communicating that in an effective way, and it changes people's minds. Maybe people who are in a position of authority, and you're like, look, this doesn't work and here's why, and you lay it out very, very like structured, like, because the solar plexus is all about like organization and structure too. So I feel like you lay it out in a very ordered way, and you kind of like defend your point. You might be a lawyer or something, because it feels like you do a lot of research, but you're also very intuitive, and you kind of combine those to be able to communicate against the duality. And then you're like on the defense or something like that, you know, you're like the defending lawyer or something like that. I don't know. That's not going to apply to everybody, but it's just like that's kind of the energy or the archetype that I'm getting. You have light. Yes, you are meant to be like a beacon of light in this world to change this unfair system. You have spiritual union in reverse. Now, I did say that I wasn't getting anything to do with relationships, but now here it is, the 2 of Cups, which is all about relationships. But because it's coming up in reverse, I feel like this may be, I just heard like divorce court or something like that. So for some of you, you might be like defending your case in like a divorce proceeding, and you present your case in a very balanced and aligned way, and then it changes the mind of the authority figures and they rule in your favor or something like that, because they see the light, because you are the light, and you're able to communicate this in a very balanced way. Rest and rejuvenate, the 4 of Swords. So it's kind of like after you go through this ordeal, or you go through this, I just heard the word battle. It doesn't feel like a battle in the negative sense. It just feels like you are fighting for the truth, and then you're successful in that. And you're able to move on and then rest. So it's like if this is a divorce, again, that doesn't have to be literal. It's just that, again, it's the energy that I'm getting. So I feel like if this is a divorce, you are really able to move on after it. You're able to free yourself from the restrictions that came from that, and you're very successful. You're able to relax afterwards and be at peace, because you know that you came out, and you came out of it aligned. You know, you didn't compromise your integrity. You didn't allow things to have power over you. You stood your ground. You fought for what was right, what was true. And it doesn't have to be anything to do with law. It could just be that you are in some way needing to communicate your truth in the face of authority, to break traditions in your life and create freedom for yourself by setting boundaries and through the awareness that you have of those, like those needs or those higher truths. So now let's take a look at your main card here, which is, yeah, the planet. So that goes first. So we want to get the planet, the sign, and the house. Okay. Okay, so I just wanted to note that they had me shuffle your cards, both the tarot that we used for this reading and also all of these ones, really super thoroughly. Like, I usually shuffle before and after each reading, but they had me do yours like over and over and over again. So I feel like you're kind of needing to clear some energy or like reset something in your life, and your future self is letting you know that. And that's why they're showing you this information. It's because it's going to help you to do that. It's going to help you to like reset something or shuffle something up that was very much out of order, and you're needing to kind of put it into order or organize it in some way so that it's aligned. Okay, so for the sign for group number 3, I'm just going to go till we get one. There we go. Libra. The scales of justice here twice in your reading, so it's definitely about balance. And since you did have all those 6s and the 2 of cups, it's definitely about relationships. That's what Libra rules as well. Okay. Oh, you did have one that flipped out as well. That's Scorpio. This one came up in group number 2. So if you were called to that one, I would check that out as well. There might be multiple messages, right? The whole story doesn't have to apply to you. It's just maybe there's a specific message in group number 2's reading that's meant to come out for you as well. Group number 3. Okay, now let's get the house. No way. The 12th house. This came out in group number 1. It's like they're all connected in some way, but they're all very different. So, okay, the way that we read these cards is first we look at the action, the other side is the outcome. We read them across like this, and we've got the spiritual, the mental, and the physical aspects of each of those. And just to kind of give you a broad overview, like we talked about, Mercury's communication, commerce, Gemini being of an emphasis here for whatever reason, so being able to communicate clearly about this duality or this injustice. Libra is creating balance through mediation. So again, it could be like social justice or mediation work or social work. It could be something to do with like the law or positions of authority, needing to communicate, needing to like clear something or reset the order within your relationships or the relationships of others. And then the 12th house is to do with things that are kind of like behind closed doors or hidden or spiritual. It can be to do with healing, spiritual awakening, and also recovery of some kind. So since you did have moving on and the 4 of Swords, it's like this rest and recovery after this period of like needing to be very verbal, outspoken, standing your ground, maybe like, you know, going up against the man, that kind of thing. So let's take a look at the message here for the action. So the spiritual action is communicate, relationships, seeking oneness with all there is. So like communication in relationships can help you to achieve oneness. That's the spiritual purpose of this, and your future self is wanting you to know and have that context so that you can come at it from that approach. The mental aspect is analyzing the beauty of philanthropy. So it's like how you can give back in this larger context or this bigger way through the awareness you have or that you gain through this experience. And it's like healing the karma. So this could be the authority is not like, maybe it's not a government entity or something like that, or a divorce proceeding. Maybe it's just you coming up against your own spiritual authority, which is kind of like the karma that you've created for yourself. And through gaining your psychic awareness and your spiritual development, you're able to kind of stand your ground and change the patterns that you had within relationships. Like maybe you had a lot of negative soulmate contracts that you needed to resolve in this lifetime, and you're able to do that and be victorious because you're able to break the chains of those old cycles of codependency. You're able to move on in this lifetime after multiple lifetimes of coming up against these same patterns. But you're finally able to see the duality, see beyond the duality, I should say, and to choose with intention and your willpower something else. It's like confident energy. You need to stand that ground. You've got to be determined here, and that's what leads you to success, breaking the chains of these old traditions like marriage contracts or negative soulmate contracts from the past, things like that. Could be even like negative vows from past lives that you made that were out of alignment with yourself at soul level. And they're reminding me that we have the material and spiritual prosperity card here. So I feel like by doing this, you either, like if it's a physical divorce proceedings, you either like get a lot of money from this, which is fair and it's meant to be yours, or like you freeing yourself from these karmic situations allows you to step into your true prosperity. The Six of Pentacles, which is what this card is also about like being able to give back. It's like having enough within yourself to be able to be philanthropic or charitable in some way. So I feel like your opulence is actually going to help you to provide for others as well. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, wait, we had one more here. The physical action. Let your mind tell you how to do it with your partner and keep your involvement hidden. I don't really know what that physical one. Let your mind tell you how to do it with your partner and keep your involvement hidden. Okay, maybe this is something like if your partner is or was cheating on you, it's like you get the intuitive nudge and you figure it out, and then you go for a divorce or you go for this breakup, and then you get the fair outcome of that or something like that. I'm not sure. Just take it how it resonates. And since this is future energy, it's kind of like you don't necessarily always have the context for it right now, but you might have some. So just take the information with a grain of salt and see how it plays out. All right, so the spiritual outcome here is the awareness of cooperation to perfect your faith. The mental outcome is many thoughts about or from decisions about hidden tendencies. And the physical outcome is many words resulting from the fairness shown by large institutions or overwhelming events. So there's a lot of communication around these proceedings, and it feels like it's going to be beneficial to you in some way, shape, or form. Like there's going to be an outcome that is in your favor, whether it's karmic, whether it's judicial, whether it's like a corporation or business or something like that. Maybe you're in a line of work and you get let go and it's unjust or unfair, and you fight for your rights and you bring awareness to this issue within the company or whatever it happens to be, and then you get the outcome of that, like you get the proper severance pay, or you get something else that's going to give you that sense of prosperity. Very interesting. And it's not just material prosperity, it's spiritual prosperity, because you're freeing yourself from some negative karmic patterns. Like this is very soul level, high level work. It's not just the human aspects of the material world. This is something that you set up for yourself at soul level to develop your faith, to develop your will, and to develop your communication skills. So very, very cool, group number 3. So that's what I see for you. In terms of timing, I feel like this one's actually a little bit closer at hand than the other two. The other two felt like long periods of time, like over the course of life. I feel like this one, you're either in this now, or it starts like relatively soon. They're showing me the number 4, so it could even be within like 4 months or 4 years, which I know years feel like a long time, but at soul level 4 years is like nothing. So take timing and take the messages here with a grain of salt. Always look for the context, and if the messages serve you, then that's what they're meant to do, and if they don't, then just release them. If it feels disempowering or if it evokes fear, then it's not for you. Just let it go. All right, so that's what I see for you, group number 3. Thank you so much for being here and allowing me to do this reading for you from your future self. It was really, really interesting and enlightening. So if you liked the reading, thank you for liking the video. I appreciate that. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Stick around for more readings. There's lots more to come. And we'll see you in the next readings. Bye.